In the summer of 1977, three men sat in a small office in Santa Clara, California, staring at a technical paper that the rest of the world had ignored. They had no product, no reputation, and only $1,200 to their name. Most tech stories start with a dream to change the world. This one started with a mission to organize the CIA's data. The project was codenamed Oracle. Its goal was to build a digital brain that could connect billions of scattered data points. But the man leading the team wasn't a spy or a general. He was a college dropout with a chip on his shoulder the size of the Silicon Valley. Today, in January 2026, Oracle is the invisible spine of the global economy. It manages the data for 98% of the Fortune 500. It powers your bank, your government, and the cooling systems of the world's most advanced AI. But Oracle's rise wasn't an accident of innovation. It was a calculated campaign of corporate warfare. Hi guys, I'm Ethan Miller. This is the story of how Larry Ellison built a trillion-dollar empire using perception as a weapon, acquisitions as strategy, and an absolute refusal to ever accept defeat. Every great character has a ghost, a past wound that never heals, only hardens. For Larry Ellison, that ghost was his father. Born to a single mother and raised by an aunt and uncle in a cramped Chicago apartment, Larry grew up under a constant verdict that he will never amount to anything. His adoptive father was a severe man who mistook curiosity for recklessness and focus for obedience. To him, Larry wasn't misunderstood, he was defective. Larry didn't have the boy genius backstory of Bill Gates. He was a drifter. He dropped out of the University of Illinois. He dropped out of the University of Chicago. He moved to California, not to start a business, but to hike and be a river guide. But inside, that loser prophecy was festering. Being called a loser didn't break Larry, it infected him. He didn't just want a job, he wanted to prove that everyone who had ever doubted him was wrong. He didn't need to be liked, he needed to be undeniable. In 1977, Larry Ellison was working at a defense contractor called Ampex when he came across a research paper by an IBM engineer named Edgar Codd. The paper described something radical, a relational database, a way to store data in tables that could be linked together using a language called SQL. IBM made what would become one of the most expensive mistakes in business history, dismissing the technology as too slow, too complex, and too complicated to ever be profitable. But Larry Ellison saw the future. He teamed up with Bob Miner and Ed Oates to start Software Development Laboratories, SDL. They won a contract from the CIA to build a relational database. The agency wanted a system to manage vast amounts of intelligence data. Larry knew that if he could build it for the spy masters, he could sell it to the world. There was just one problem. The product didn't exist yet. So Larry reached for his first great weapon, the lie. When he released his first commercial database, he didn't call it version 1. He called it Oracle version 2. He knew no one would trust their valuable data to a version 1. He sold the world an illusion of maturity, and then he worked his engineers 20 hours a day to turn that illusion into a reality. By the mid-1980s, Oracle was growing at a terrifying pace. Larry's strategy was simple: sales over science. While other tech companies focused on making their software perfect, Larry focused on making his sales force lethal. He hired the most aggressive, competitive young people he could find and told them one thing: hit your numbers or get out. He fostered a culture called management by ridicule. He would pit executives against each other in public meetings, mocking those who failed and showering winners with exotic cars and massive bonuses. And it worked. Oracle went public in 1986, just one day before Microsoft. Larry Ellison was now a multi-millionaire, racing yachts and buying fighter jets. He had arrived. But the ghost wasn't satisfied. Success wasn't enough. He wanted total dominance. And that hunger would push Oracle to the edge of collapse. In 1990, the empire hit a wall. The sales culture had become so aggressive that salespeople were booking revenue for software that hadn't even been written yet. They were lying to the accountants to hit their bonuses. When the truth came out, Oracle's stock price crashed 80% in a single day. The company was weeks away from running out of cash. The loser prophecy was coming true. Larry sat in his office, facing bankruptcy and a massive SEC investigation. This was the midpoint shift. Larry had to grow up. He fired his entire management team. He hired professional adults like Ray Lane to fix the operations. He realized that to build a lasting empire, he couldn't just be a salesman. He had to be a strategist. He pivoted the company toward the big iron, focusing on massive, complex, critical databases for global banks, airlines, and governments, systems that could never afford to fail. He created vendor lock-in. Once a company put their data into Oracle 7, it would cost them millions to ever leave. Larry had turned his customers into his subjects. In the early 2000s, Larry Ellison looked at the tech landscape and realized that innovation was slowing down. So he stopped trying to invent the future and decided to own it. He pioneered the hostile takeover in Silicon Valley. In 2003, he launched a $10 billion war to buy PeopleSoft. He fought the Department of Justice, he fought the PeopleSoft board, and he fought the public perception that he was a villain. He didn't care. He won. Then he bought Siebel and BEA Systems. Then, in 2010, his masterpiece, Sun Microsystems. By buying Sun Microsystems, Larry didn't just get hardware, he got Java, the programming language that runs the entire internet. Suddenly, everyone in tech had to pay the Oracle tax. If you used a smartphone, a website, or a server, you were putting money into Larry's pocket. He had become the ultimate gatekeeper. As the 2010s rolled into the 2020s, the world thought Oracle was a legacy company, a dinosaur in the age of the cloud. They were wrong. While Amazon and Google built clouds for the masses, Larry built a cloud for governments, banks, and AI labs, where failure is not an option. He built the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, specifically to handle the most massive data loads in history. By January 2026, this strategy has paid off in a way no one predicted. When the AI boom hit, the world realized that AI isn't just about intelligence, it's about data and power. Oracle is currently building the world's first Zeta-scale AI supercluster. When Elon Musk or the team at OpenAI need to train their most advanced models, they don't just go to the cool companies. They go to the man who has been managing the world's data since 1977. Larry Ellison now consistently ranks among the wealthiest people on Earth, often competing for the top position. Larry Ellison's story is a paradox. He's the most sued, most criticized, and most feared man in Silicon Valley. He didn't build a product that people love like the iPhone. He built a product that people cannot live without. He proved his father wrong. He didn't just amount to something. He built the foundation of the digital age. But the lesson of Oracle isn't about code. It's about the power of a single-minded, ruthless pursuit of a goal. It's about what happens when ambition becomes singular, when strategy replaces sentiment, and when winning matters more than approval. Larry Ellison didn't change the world by being nice. He changed the world by realizing that in the information age, the person who owns the data owns everything. Oracle has spoken, and as long as the world runs on data, Larry Ellison will be there to collect the check. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.